Welcome to Red Wolf Roundtable, everybody. I'm Tristan Harlan here with Juicebox, the man, the myth, the legend, Cooper Melder. Cooper, how you doing, my friend? It's a good day.
Oh, it's always a good day here at Red Wolf Roundtable. You know, I'm feeling good, and this weather, it's real, true football weather outside right now.
Yeah, man, I got pants on myself. You know, big guys like myself, we love the cold weather because that's when all the girls, they just want to cuddle with us like we're a teddy bear. But, you know, Coop, before we get too carried away with what we got going on today, let's go ahead and send it to Ellie Brett on the news desk to see what's been popping in ASU athletics.
Thanks, Cooper and Tristan. My name is Ella Jane Britt, and welcome back to the Red Wolf Roundtable News Desk. The Arkansas State Athletics and the Red Wolves Foundation are now offering both fans and donors a special ticket along with a tailgating package for both the games against James Madison and ULM at Centennial Bank Stadium. The donors and fans can purchase up to 4 tickets on the Upper West sections, both AA through FF. The Red Wolves football team fell to ODU this past weekend in a last-minute drive from ODU, ending the game with a score of 29-26. You can catch these Red Wolves take on ULM this Saturday at Centennial Bank Stadium and join them beforehand to be a part of the Arkansas State homecoming. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. The Arkansas State soccer team defeated Troy last Sunday by the final score of 2-1. The Red Wolves are now sitting with 4 wins, 4 ties, and 2 losses so far for the season, making that with 2 wins and 1 tie in the Sun Belt Conference. The Arkansas State soccer team is now set to take on the Eagles of Georgia Southern this Sunday at 11. Arkansas State baseball opens their fall practice this Tuesday as they begin to prepare for their upcoming season. These practices are open to the public, and you can see them prepare for their season at Tomlinson Stadium at 3 p.m. Their first fall game is set for September 30th. Cooper and Tristan, back to you guys.
Cooper, it was a great weekend. Well, not so great weekend for Arkansas State football. We traveled to Old Dominion. They went and they played the Monarchs. And Coop, unfortunately, we weren't able to get a win. It was a sad, sad loss for the Red Wolves. I mean, you got to look at it this way. They had more passing yards than us. We finally had more rushing yards than our opponent. We even had more first downs, and we had the ball longer. But unfortunately, and I do mean unfortunately, at the slightest, once again, the old saying does true. The man in the zebra outfit won or lost the game for the Red Wolves.
Well, you know, if you're just looking at the stats and you didn't watch the game, you're thinking, man, that was they may have had more passing yards, but, A-State really dominated that game because, they had 22 first downs compared to their 12 more time possession. Was it like 31-21, something like that? And, when you look at the stats, you're like, man, A-State, that was a good win. And then it just like, at the end of the day, sometimes the better team doesn't win, and that's just mistakes after mistakes, and penalties kill teams.
Yeah, Cooper, and I'm glad you brought that up because in the heat of the moment in that game, Arkansas State, they were driving. They ended up choking a lead coming back from the half. They had them scoreless there for a while, but it was a play in particular. Blackman dropped back, Old Dominion dropped back, threw a beautiful pass to the end zone. It was a guaranteed 50-50 ball. Someone was going to catch it. The offensive receiver pulls the defender down, flag comes out. What is it? Pass interference on the defense. You can't have that. I'm not going to sit here and cry and say, oh, the referee cost us the game. But, when you're having those kind of outfits, you can't really – that kind of hurts your momentum in the game.
Well, and with the way of football is being played right now, the rules are all for the offense. They want offense to succeed any day of the week.
Yeah, Cooper, but before we get too much into it, we're going to take a short break. You're watching Red Wolf Roundtable on 8.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
ASU-TV, covering all your favorite sports. From Red Wolf Roundtable to Westside football and more, ASU-TV has you covered. Tune in now to ASU-TV for news and coverage on these sports and more.
ASU-TV News, your local source for news, weather, A-State events, and more. Tune in to ASU-TV News now.
At Arkansas State, we want you to go. Go where learning soars, takes flight, and rockets ahead. Go for experiences, internships, and scholarships. We want you to go. Become A-State Maine. Are you ready to go? Go.astate.edu for details.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable, guys, and a special hello and welcome back to our friends at Tubetown. Thank you for letting us be a part of your A-State pregame party. But Cooper, it was like we were saying before the break, it was a kind of a questionable weekend for the Red Bulls. We played Old Dominion. I actually took the time with Easton, with a couple of everybody else on the crew, to kind of look at some advantages from this game. And you got to look at it like this, okay? We had some fresh blood because of injuries. We had Jeff Foreman absolutely killing it. We had the running game. It was spectacular. A.J. Mayer, he was able to come in for Blackman when Blackman was kind of getting banged up, kind of getting hit, and he was able to run the ball, kind of open up the offense a little bit. And our first half defense was absolutely phenomenal. Special teams, it has been good all year long. Even when we played Ohio State and got not blown out, but we got beat pretty badly, our special teams were still, rocking it, kicking it, doing what they needed to do. And our fourth down situations, I'll put it to you this way. There was multiple times when we had to punt that ball away and we were able to pin them deep, or they had to punt that ball back to us, and it set our offense up with good field position. Even our defense was able to get them a holding call on Old Dominion and end up causing a safety. But, man, as much as I love the advantages, you got to look at the disadvantages, because that's what really lost us the game for the Red Bulls. 4th and 2. Easton, if he was here, I'm sure he would talk our ear off about what this 4th and 2 means. The O-line absolutely crumbled in the heat of the moment. I know we got a big guy out. We had two big guys out, according to Butch Jones. But you can't allow your quarterback to get sacked the number of times that Blackman got sacked. The flags. You cannot have that many penalties if you want to win a game when you're leading as bad as you're leading. You got to generate points. And what I mean by generate points is when you get the ball in good field position, I want you to go score, not just stall out 3 and out every freaking time you get the ball. No big plays. That's been the story of the whole year for the defense, my friend. Big plays have killed us time and time again. We saw Marvin Harrison Jr. do it at Columbus. We've seen it happen in Memphis, and we even saw it in Norfolk, Virginia against the Monarchs. And now the injuries. The injuries, I get you cannot control that, but you got to stay healthy. I mean, Coach said Champ has been fighting to get back on the field, but you got to stay healthy. You got to have your guys healthy. And down management. This goes back to my first point, 4th and 2. When you're down in their field of range, you got to capitalize. You got to get first downs. You got to get in the end zone. You got to make sure your down management is just as good as your clock management, Coop. But, as much as we talk about the disadvantages, we got to look at some of the highlights. You got to look at Jeff Foreman. I call it the Foreman's Grill because this man was cooking. He had 4 receptions for 115 yards. He had a touchdown. He was averaging about 30 yards a catch. But, man, what a shining moment it was for this young athlete against Old Dominion.
Yes, I love to see every week we have a different guy on offense perform. Week 1, it was James Blackman. Week 2, you had Champ Fleming stepping up big. And now week 4 against Old Dominion, we're now having Foreman Grill out there cooking up some fried chicken, and it's doing great. You like to see that on the offense because you're showing we don't have to just go to Hunt, Flemings. We have other options on the field. And when you open up the passing game, you can't just focus on one guy. Oh, we'll go deep to Hunt. The next thing you know, we're going to hit you with a quick bubble screen to Flemings. And it's just working out perfectly. If we can just have, better offensive play calling, then maybe we'll win those close games.
Now you got to look at it this way. We also had another quarterback, A.J. Meyer. He was able to run that ball very well. He had 46 rushing yards, 7 carries. He even got in the end zone. It was great to see that we had another quarterback be able to come in and do it. But guys, we got to take another break. You've been watching Red Wolf Roundtable on ASU-TV.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
ASU-TV, covering all your favorite sports. From Red Wolf Roundtable to Westside Football and more, ASU-TV has you covered. Tune in now to ASU-TV for news and coverage on these sports and more.
ASU-TV News, your local source for news, weather, A-State events, and more. Tune in to ASU-TV News now.
At Arkansas State, we want you to go. Go where learning soars, takes flight, and rockets ahead. Go for experiences, internships, and scholarships. We want you to go. Become A-State Maine. Are you ready to go? Go.astate.edu for details.
All right, guys, welcome back. So, Arkansas State, they've started their SBC competition last week against Old Dominion, and now this week they got, who is it, ULM this week?
Yes.
For homecoming, my birthday. So now we're going to do a little game what I like to call disrespect or respect. And we're going to talk about some teams that Arkansas State has upcoming that Cooper and I either disrespect or respect. So let's go ahead and start at the bottom of the list of the teams we do not respect. Texas State, the Bobcats. You already know how we feel about them. They're rushing for 564 yards. Their opponents are averaging about 610 yards. Their leading rusher, Calvin Hill, he's got 318 yards and a touchdown. Now the biggest snake of them all, Lane Hatcher, he's got 1,067 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's 100 for 159. And their defense is also averaging 9 sacks for 68 yards and also has 4 interceptions. Now Cooper, I know you hate snakes, but how you feeling about Texas State right here?
Texas State, perfect number 5, you know. Hate them, everything about them, just a bunch of snakes. Katie and them, they can kiss.
All right, let's go to our next team, Southern Miss. the Golden Eagles, the Frank Gore Jr. show. His daddy used to play for the 49ers, but his son is playing for the Golden Eagles. And this time, Brett Favre's not here to bail him out no more. Frank Gore, he's rushing for 336 yards on 62 attempts. He's got 3 touchdowns, also averaging about 78.5 yards a carry. The story of this is their dual quarterback. Zach Wilk has 503 yards. He's 42 for 74 TDs and has an interception. Now, Ty Key's their other quarterback. He's got 281 yards. He's 10 for 17, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Cooper, what about you? What about Southern Miss? Is this a good spot, or should they be a little higher?
I mean, I would interchange Southern Miss 4 and 3, so either way, either position, it's a good spot for them.
All right, let's go ahead for the next team on the list, and that's going to be the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. Chandler Rogers, their quarterback, he's 59 for 91, 649 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's also got 36 rushing yards and a TD against ULL. Now, the story about this one is, and why they're at number 3, they beat the Raging Cajuns 21-17. Now, they got 3 rushers, and get this, they're all over 100 yards. Andrew Henry, Malik Jackson, and their quarterback Chandler Rogers, all over 100 yards. Their defense has 5 interceptions and 7 sacks for 44 sack yards. Cooper, what'd you think about the Warhawks?
Well, the Warhawks are our little brothers, so I guess we can make them feel special and put them at 3.
All right, let's go ahead and look at this next team. And this team is going to be interchangeable, and it's going to be the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns, another team that has 2 quarterbacks. Their quarterback number 1, Chandler Fields, he's 50 for 88, 583 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 6 times, lost 39 yards. And their other quarterback, Ben Wooldridge, he's 30 for 45, 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and get this, he hasn't been sacked yet. And their number 1 receiver, Michael Jefferson, not Jordan Jefferson, or what's the Vikings receiver name? He don't matter.
Justin Jefferson.
Thank you. He's got 7 receptions for 259 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, Cooper, how you feeling about the Cajuns that are raging?
Well, lost them close last year, and you need to respect them, but I feel like we're going to get revenge this year.
Now, Cooper, it's not Raging Against the Machine. It's the Raging Cajuns, and it's now time for the beautiful picture of Mr. Sullivan to go away, and it's time for our number 1 team to be appeared, and that's going to be the James Madison Dukes, the newcomer, the fresh blood, the defense. The defense. They say defense wins championships, but get this. Their defense has 10 sacks, and they're averaging 58 yards off the sacks. 2 interceptions. They forced 3 fumbles, which they've recovered all 3. Chris Thornton, he's a dog. He's got that dog in him, and he's roughing all the way from James Madison. He's got 19 receptions for 246 yards. He's averaging about 13 yards per catch. He's got 5 touchdowns, which is tied for first for the most receiving yards in the Sun Belt. And look at this. Their dual threat quarterback, Todd Cintio. He's throwing 661 yards, 11 touchdowns on 79 attempts, also rushing for 227 yards on 35 attempts, averaging 6.5 yards per rush and a touchdown. Cooper, I don't think you can put James Madison anywhere else on this list but number 1. But guys, this has been Respect or Disrespect. We'll be back after this.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
ASU-TV, covering all your favorite sports. From Red Wolf Roundtable to Westside Football and more, ASU-TV has you covered. Tune in now to ASU-TV for news and coverage on these sports and more.
ASU-TV News, your local source for news, weather, A-State events, and more. Tune in to ASU-TV News now.
At Arkansas State, we want you to go. Go where learning soars, takes flight, and rockets ahead. Go for experiences, internships, and scholarships. We want you to go. Become A-State Maine. Are you ready to go? Go.astate.edu for details.
What is it about home? The expression that home is where the heart is goes back nearly 2,000 years. Laura Ingalls Wilder wrote that home is the nicest word there is. And Judy Garland famously clicked her heels and reminded us that there's just no place like it. For many of us, this place is home. It's where we really started to grow. It's where we met lifelong friends, and maybe even spouses. It's where we learn the skills, inside the classroom and out, to go out and make our way in the world. But more than anything, it's where memories were made. For 108 seasons now, plenty of memories have been made on or around a 100-yard patch of grass and turf. And for 97 of those seasons, there's been one special day set aside for us all to come home, to relive those memories while making new ones, to see how much the place has changed and how much it is exactly how we remember. Recently, the world became a different place, and it affected our ability to get home. But not anymore. Now the gates are open, and restrictions are gone. And it's time for us to gather again to reminisce with one another while cheering on this group of young men with our name on their chests as they forge their own championship path. So no matter where you've been, no matter where you're going, it's time to come home. Home to Arkansas State.
Cooper, this Saturday in Centennial Bank Stadium against the Warhawks, it's going to be homecoming. Now, it's not going to be no high school style dancing with your girlfriend, getting the fruit punch in the cafeteria. No. It's going to be homecoming where the Rebels will beat the Warhawks. I keep wanting to call them the Cajuns for some reason.
You know, fun fact about ULM, they're 1-9 when playing at Arkansas State. The only time they have beat Arkansas State at home was when their first meeting back in 2001. So they don't really know how to win here. So, you know, it's homecoming. You always schedule an easy win on homecoming. Thanks, Warhawks. You know, can't wait to, you know, be chilling on the sideline with that dub.
Yeah, Cooper. So, you know, really, the breakdown of this game is not one that really favors the Warhawks. You know, we're averaging about 8 more rushing yards than them. We're averaging a whole bunch more passing yards. We're scoring way more points per game, and they're allowing about 4 more points than we are. And I don't know if that stat is before the fourth quarter or after the fourth quarter. I'm guessing it's probably after. But, I mean, you got to look at it this way, okay? It's homecoming. You got to win on homecoming. I mean, you can't do what Troy did to LSU back in the day and upset somebody on their homecoming. That's just not sportsmanlike.
Yes.
But, Cooper, you know, looking at all this, what are maybe some of your predictions for this game?
Well, obviously, I think A-State's going to come out here and they're going to absolutely dominate and win this game easily. I feel like it could be a close first half game, you know, fill each other out. But A-State's going to win because right now A-State's on a 12-game winning streak against ULM. And I feel like we're about to bump that number up to 13. So ULM, like I was saying, they're a little brother. And sometimes you play your little brother in Madden or NCAA and you got to beat them by 100 to show them who the big brother is. And that's what's going to happen this weekend.
Well, speaking of big brother, I hope my big brother Jake Williamson isn't laughing at you right now for what you did against Memphis. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. But you got to look at it this way. It's going to be a good game for the Red Wolves. You know, you guys got to come out. You got to support this team. They work hard, they play hard, and they study even harder. So, I mean, you got to look at it this way. Predictions is a thing where you can't really go wrong, but you can't necessarily go right. I mean, we still get talked about for how we predicted the Arkansas State football season way back when we were still freshmen. So, I mean, Cooper, what's a score for this game that you think is going to be logistical?
A-State likes to score. ULM likes to give up a lot of points. So I feel Arkansas State 45, ULM 21.
Well, I think Arkansas State's going to get at least 50 points. But, Ellie, I think it's time to hear your predictions. What are you thinking about this game, honey?
Just by seeing those game stats that y'all just mentioned, I honestly feel like it's in for an A-State win. But just as a reminder, you can watch the Red Wolves take on ULM this Saturday at Centennial Bank Stadium and join them beforehand to be a part of the Arkansas State homecoming. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. And you can watch this game live on ESPN+. You can also watch the game live on the EAB Red Wolf Sports Network. Back to you, Tristan and Cooper.
Thanks, Ellie. Well, Cooper, you know, we're about running short of time here. So, real quick, you know, what are some impact players you think are going to shine this week against the Warhawks?
I feel like James Blackman, you know, he hasn't really been talked about much since week 1. I feel like he's going to have that dog in him this Saturday. I feel like he's going to have a great game.
Yeah, Cooper, I mean, you can only hope that your quarterback does great week in and week out. At one point, he had the highest QBR in the country. But, man, you know what? I'm excited that it's homecoming. Next time you see us on the show, we will be 20 years old. That's right, Mama Melder and Mama Harlan. We are getting old, and that means you are too. So I guess we got to get those retirement homes plans ready sooner than we think.
Yeah, my back's kind of hurting, not going to lie.
Yeah, Cooper. But anyways, guys, that's been Red Wolf Roundtable. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, we'll be talking about an Arkansas State win.